Hey Wellness Warriors! I wanted to bring an important video to you today because it's that time of year where everyone seems to be getting sick, like October through May. Most likely about March is flu season, flu and cold season. But right around the holidays is when it tends to hit people the hardest, right? Not only from bacterias floating around, but because of that one word we all have more of come Thanksgiving, stress. Stress can come in many forms. It could be emotional, financial, physical, from an illness or an injury, or it could be eating the wrong foods or taking the wrong supplements or not getting enough sleep, R&R. But today my goal is to help you kick a cold or flu once it arrives and then to help prevent it from coming back in the future. So statistics are pretty crazy these days. Each year, over 10%, which is more than 30 million Americans, are suffering from headaches, facial pressure, and nasal congestion, like a lot of my friends suffer from, which is caused by sinus infections. If an infection is really severe, then antibiotics may be necessary, but that's what we're going to talk about today, because probably not. Just because you have sinus symptoms doesn't necessarily mean you have an infection. But if more than a week goes by and your symptoms worsen rather than wane, you might have a bacterial sinus infection. So we're going to go over that. Antibiotics cure bacterial infections, not viral infections. What do I mean by that? Viral infections are things like colds or flu, most coughs and bronchitis, sore throats that are not caused by strep throat, or runny noses. And those are the symptoms that a lot of us suffer from this time of year. If you're at home with one of those or want to avoid contracting them, please follow me in this video and take some notes. So first and foremost, I wanted to get into, because someone asked me a question the other day about they had a cold and they're like, I'm really trying to kick this thing. My kids have had it. It's running around the house and I just don't want to go to the hospital. I know that antibiotics are not the best thing for me. So for me, I have a huge arsenal of things at home, always available, because when you're sick, you don't want to go to the store, right? You're just like laying in your deathbed. So first and foremost, probiotics. Those are huge. And there's a whole bunch of different kinds in the market, but I'm going to talk about this today. Probiotics that means for life. Antibiotics literally means against life. So what antibiotics do in the body is they wipe out all of the bacteria, good and bad, in your digestive tract and in your entire body. So probiotics will help with the natural flora, and those are the good guys. They're going to help fight off any kind of potential virus or bacteria in your body. So definitely load up on probiotics, at least 10 billion colony-forming units, and at least 10 different strains is what you're looking for. So I can make some recommendations for you. The one that I just showed you is the one I personally use in my practice for myself and for my clients. And the next one is vitamin C. You guys have all heard this, but this is not the end-all be-all. And emergency is just one thing I happen to have right now. I have some other ones that are even better than this. But 1 gram, if you can get like 6 of these in a day, so that to tolerance, because a lot of people will get diarrhea from taking too many. So maybe 1 every hour or so. And it's better to have this with like a B complex too, because they help. They're both kind of assisters for delivery and absorption in the body. So vitamin C is huge, and I'll discuss why orange juice is bad for you when you have a cold. Vitamin D is also massively underrated in our medical community today. Vitamin D, this is 5,000 IUs, and this is what the dose I recommend in my practice the most. I'm actually sitting out here in the sun. The sun is not on me right now, but we just don't get enough vitamin D during the day, during the week, and so vitamin D is something that is it's a massive immune system booster and infection fighter. So vitamin D, with or without being sick, is something I highly recommend. Adrenal support, because you're dealing with stress, which is what an infection or cold is. Adrenals is very important, so you really want to stimulate your adrenals, which is one of your system's abilities to handle stressful times throughout your life. And it could be just that a busy schedule is what's taking you down, and exposure to bacteria is something that just really took you down. So adrenals is another huge one I recommend. Big time though, natural antibiotics is something that I love to recommend in my practice. And what do I mean by that? So I'm going to attach a list for you guys so that you can take a look at all the ones that I like to use. There's a whole bunch of different ones that Mother Nature provides to us. We don't really need to take antibiotics. We don't need to take pharmaceuticals because Mother Nature gives us what we need. So I like this brand. This is Wellness. This is a herbal resistance liquid. This has Echinacea Golden Seal and Yin Chow Immune Support. So this is something that I take personally when I'm sick. And I take this as well as colloidal silver. Colloidal silver is the best, and you're going to hear some mixed reviews on this, but literally colloidal silver will knock out a cold if you have a sinus infection. You take about 2 teaspoons, and I like this brand, 2 teaspoons daily for 10 days. So take it just like you would an antibiotic cycle, and you just basically hold it under your tongue, or you can swish it around your mouth, gargle with it, and then swallow it. You can also make a spray out of it for a lot of people who have sinus problems. You can take, you know, those like rinse things, like those nasal rinses that you can get at the store. You can also get some of those at like a health food store where you can make your own and just fill it about halfway with colloidal silver and spray 2 times in each nostril and then hold it in. You don't want to go too much more than that because it will dry out your nose and your nasal passages a little bit too much and you might cause bleeding. But colloidal silver is huge. It's the most powerful Mother Nature's antibiotic that's out there now. So that is the Mother Nature equivalent of a pharmaceutical antibiotic. All right, I covered that. Zinc lozenges. I love these. These are really great for fighting off infection. I take them pretty regularly anyway, anytime I'm feeling pretty run down. And in fact, a lot of these things I'm talking about today are things that I really stock up on, not just like in my bag, but I take them at least 3 to 4 days before I travel somewhere. Because as you guys know, when you're traveling, there's airborne bacteria everywhere, especially when you're in an airplane and there's no filtration for things to fly around. So everything ends up in our nasal passages. So zinc lozenges, this one I like because you take them sublingually and chew them up in your mouth. Okay, what's next? Oh, Manuka honey. Okay. You guys may or may not have heard of Manuka honey, and you probably have poo-pooed it because you're like walking around the grocery store and you see it maybe at Whole Foods because it's not going to be at your standard grocery store. And it's like, whoa, $25 for a bottle of honey. But this Manuka honey is more expensive. It is way more powerful, and it's one of Mother's also, along with colloidal silver, best antibiotics. So I love that, and I'll give you a little recipe what I like after I discuss some of the other ones that are my favorites for fighting off the common cold or flu. Oregano oil, peppermint, and rosemary are also awesome to place underneath your tongue, or you can put it in water or on a steamy washcloth and then put it over your eyes, over your forehead, on your chest to clear your sinus cavities. Those are just some of the ones that help clear things up. If you want to take some peppermint and rub it on your hands and then sniff, it really helps to open up your nasal passages there too. Garlic is awesome. You can chop up 2 to 3 cloves of it and swallow it like a pill. So you really want to make sure you chop them all up and then swallow them. So don't just swallow the whole clove. You can supplement with them, or you can place garlic drops in your ear if you feel pressure there. Just don't cook with them and consider eating them to be something that's going to help you to fight your cold off, because you're going to denature and cook out the antibiotic properties. So you could also put, I mentioned colloidal silver, you can also put that in your ears as well. Like a lot of times kids have ear infections and they're not helped by anything that doctors are prescribing today. Ginger's also another one. You can just literally take pieces of ginger and chew on them and then swallow them. You can cut them up. I'm going to get another recipe next. Cinnamon. Also, cinnamon is another good one. And the link below, you'll see the top 30 that I like from someone else's website that I really enjoy. Cinnamon is a natural blood sugar or blood pressure stabilizer. I'm going to read something from an over-the-counter cures book that I've been reading. To date, one method has proven most beneficial than all the other natural product screening. The design of most prescription drugs is guided by knowledge and obtained from plant-based predecessors, which are commonly sold as nutritional supplements. So all of today's blockbusters have natural roots. So all of today's like massively sold prescription pharmaceuticals all have natural roots. So basically they look at the DNA structure of our plant life, and you can't patent plants as a brand and resell them for profit. Painkillers, blood pressure medications, anti-cancer drugs, and even the particularly nasty cholesterol-lowering drugs are nothing more than copycats of Mother Nature. So you can take cinnamon in larger doses, and that acts as more of a blood pressure kind of stabilizer. So that's just a little side note. I am not your doctor, and I can't say to take something as opposed to taking your medication, but just know that you have this power and this knowledge is accessible to you. Let's see here. Okay, most supplements, you guys, because I've just discussed supplements, it's important that you guys know that most supplements are straight up crap. I am sorry to be so crass, but it's true. I would rather you avoid expensive urine. So if you're in need right now, visit a health food store or have one of your families go to the store, not CVS, and ask a specialist in the supplement section for the most potent and close to Mother Nature as possible versions of these remedies, so that you can find them within your budget that's not gonna, bankrupt you. But what is your health worth, really? Moving forward, shoot me an email or comment below so I can refer you to the right place to stock up, so that when you do get sick next time, you have these things in your arsenal like I do, because I'm always ready for a cold if someone has it. I haven't been sick for like a whole year. I used to get sick like 4 times a year, but not anymore. But I am prepared if the time does come. You'll need to list me as your health practitioner with a link that I'm going to send to you. If you do wish to buy some of the things that I'm referencing today, you'll need to list me as your health practitioner to purchase them. And it's, Diane Kazer. You guys follow me. But I can also promise you that they're better than 95% of the stuff on the market, as these are the ones I personally use for myself and my clients. I used to use the 95% crap like a long time ago, and I never felt the difference. So this has been tried and tested with me for 4 years, so you can rest assured this is the best of the best. Foods. Okay, this is the foods that I like. So in addition to those 30 supplements that I linked for you guys down below, you can take them in supplement form or you can eat them and you can get them in food form. So one of the things I really love to do is gargle with apple cider vinegar. This is like $3 and you can get this at Trader Joe's or anywhere, but apple cider vinegar, make sure you stir it around before you take it. If I'm feeling sick, or if I am sick until it's gone, I literally just put some of this in my mouth and gargle with it. Someone on my Facebook, when I asked today what people do for home remedies, said that they use Listerine. But Listerine is full of fluoride and stuff that kills even the good bacteria too. So in order to maintain the good balance of good and bad bacteria and not just kill everything, you'll want to kill the bad bacteria with apple cider vinegar. So you just gargle it, swish it around for a while, and spit it out. Coconut oil also does really well, does wonders for oral infections, so you could swish it around your mouth and then spit it out. Just make sure you're gargling for like 30 seconds with this, and if you can get a good minute in or more with oil pulling with coconut oil, extra virgin coconut oil, that also helps to rid your body of infections. So I love rinsing with these, and then also salt water is very helpful. If you do warm water, gargle with warm salt water, swish it around, spit it out, and I don't know if you're going to actually see your cold go away immediately, but it does start to actually really make you feel better. So those are 2 that I like to gargle with. Like I said, drink tons of vitamin C, but don't consume it in the form of a lot of orange juice. And here's why. Because you guys have probably heard me say before that sugar feeds candida, which 85% of Americans have an overgrowth of, and candida is yeast. And that's a big, big underpinning for a lot of people with autoimmune disease, and sugar also feeds cancer. Sugar also will feed an illness. So we don't want to drink too much juice in order to get your vitamin C. You can get it in concentrated forms, because this is just one reference, but in this emergency packet, there's only 6 grams of sugar. Whereas if you even try to get this much vitamin C in a glass of orange juice, you're probably going to have to drink like 3 bottles. And so it's going to be a massive overload of sugar, and your insulin's going to spike, and your pancreas is going to be pissed off because it has to work so much overload and releasing insulin to break down the sugar, and then you're going to be diabetic. And if you're diabetic, that's just going to add insult to injury. So cinnamon's good for diabetics, and so too is this. Case in point, I digress. Okay, where am I? So the other foods that I think are great, and you guys have all heard of comfort food. I mean, chicken soup for the soul, chicken soup when you're sick, but chicken soup today is like laced with gluten and a ton of soups. It'll have like pasta in it or rice. And gluten's just going to make things worse and inflames your colon. I don't care if you're celiac or not, if you have an allergy to it or not, but it's just going to inflame your digestive tract. So just try to get bone broth, organic bone broth. It's kind of a tasky feat to do it at home when you're sick, but you can have your spouse or your loved one make you some chicken soup, or if you're a vegetarian, whatever broth that you can get, but from animals better. Fermented foods is what I'm getting at too, so like sauerkraut. Sauerkraut's amazing. The other thing that is really good is kimchi with cabbage. Cabbage is an amazing source of vitamin C. My personal favorite comfort foods when I'm sick, and I had some of this when I was in India this last November. It was like almost exactly a year ago today that I was in India and I was traveling, and I got sick when I was traveling. That was the last time I got sick. And when I was there, an Ayurvedic doctor helped me with some of these remedies I'm talking about today that I still employ with my clients. My favorite, though, that's like totally readily available at every restaurant that you go to in Asia was, and in Thailand, I love these too. And then in India, when I was cold, I just love these. And also to get over a cold was honey, lemon, and ginger. So you just take, you can take a pot and then slice up like, I don't know, about that much of a thumb of ginger. Slice that all up, put it into the pot with some water. maybe like 12 ounces of water because you want like an 8-ounce drink. And then squeeze some lemon juice in there, but not until after you're done with the boiling part of the ginger. And so basically you just boil the ginger in there. And then once you're done with that, pour that water and you can seep out the ginger if you like, or if you want to chew it in the water, squeeze the lemon in there. So like 1 whole lemon, and then also like a good tablespoon or maybe even just a teaspoon, depending on how much sugar you've had for the day, of Manuka honey. So that's like the best, and it just warms your heart, and it kind of works through some of the sinus congestion too. All right, I love Thai soup. So when I'm really sick and I have nobody that's going to help me, I've often had some Thai soup delivered to me, like just like a coconut soup. It's not always the best, but it was definitely comfort food, and it's warm. And just one of the things that you're going to really want to avoid, moving on to the top 5 avoids, is no alcohol. You crazy people. I just posted on Facebook today, like, what you guys do when you're sick and when you want to get over a cold. And you guys are like, hot toddy, is whiskey included, and all these other crazy things. You guys are nuts. No alcohol. That's only going to be taxing on your system. Alcohol of any kind is a stressor to your immune system. So, yeah, none of that. And not even like whiskey. Someone said something about whiskey for the back of my throat. Well, that's what we're talking about today, is how to make those things feel better. So, if you do need to kind of numb the back of your throat, you can use some of the oils that I have in that link of the top 30s. It'll make your throat feel a lot better, especially peppermint. Because these herbals that we're talking about, they are essential oils that can be applied topically, or you can apply them orally as well. So make sure that those are the ones that you buy, and not just some cheap crap from the store for like $3. They're going to be around $10 for a little tiny bottle of them, which is about like this. This is a good like $10 to $15 bottle size, and I'll get into that in a minute. Also, no caffeine. You guys are probably very energy deficient at this point because you're sick, and actually caffeine is a stressor that will bring on a cold too, or exacerbate it. It's a huge adrenal can't even say the word right now. It's a huge depletion for your adrenals, so you don't want to have any more pull on your adrenals, which is trying so hard to keep up with stress. That's what that organ is. Your adrenal is your stressor organ. So no caffeine. A little bit of green tea is not going to hurt you, so that's not too bad, but it's normally like 4 times more in a serving of coffee. No processed or packaged and engineered foods. Avoid those like the plague. And I'm sorry, guys, but that includes protein powder too. That's not a real food. And like my buddy Sean Croxton says, jerf, just eat real food. No meal replacements, no protein bars. Those just aren't even real food anyway. Eat as fresh and organic as possible. I know it's really hard to get to the store and prepare food, but if you can just enlist help from someone else, or you can barter or bat your eyes at them or beg, they will probably help you. You can also order takeout, like I mentioned, or you can buy prepared salads that are at stores on the go, or if you have people around you that'll make you food and bring it over, that'd be awesome too. Also, the 4th thing to do is avoid exercise. And I know a lot of people say, is exercise good when you're sick or is it bad? Well, in most cases, it's bad. And I'll tell you why. You have 11 systems in your body, and when you're sick, you want to allow your body to focus its efforts on healing. And the healing systems are the ones that are compromised during that time. So your respiratory and immune systems are working overtime to fix your problem, and exercising too hard would activate your muscular system and thereby filtering down your cold fighting system efforts. So yeah, maybe going to the sauna and sweating it out a little bit, that will help, and maybe some real quiet, slow yin yoga, and that's a little bit warm is fine too, but nothing too overly taxing. 5th one, no over-the-counters. Avoid those like the plague too. NyQuil or over-the-counters, if you need to sleep, are even bad. Here's what I'd recommend. Melatonin! This is a natural sleep supplement. In fact, I do lab testing for clients to help them determine why they might have sleep apnea, or if they have insomnia. And here's one of the things that I had to take in the very beginning, because I was actually low in melatonin. So I was getting like 7 or 8 hours of sleep, but I wasn't getting very deep sleep, and I wasn't going to sleep until 2. So anyway, that's one that you could take. Melatonin is a natural sleep aid, and it's not going to be NyQuil filled with like all this high fructose corn syrup and other poisonings and blue fake colors and crap. Okay, let's see. Oh, my favorite. Okay, so I did a video that you guys may have already watched, which is my morning routine. And one of the things I do every single morning is neti pot. I love this thing. So you can get it from the grocery store. You can even get it from, yeah, okay, you can get this one from CVS, you win. But it's easy. Just get some distilled water, reverse osmosis water if you have it at home. I sell those systems if you want a good one for a good price. But if you don't, then distilled water is good. You want to heat it up to about body temperature and then add the little mix to it and then do your little side thing and then your other side thing and make sure you get both sides. And then when you blow your nose, a bunch of stuff might come out every single morning. In fact, when you're sick, 2 to 3 times a day. All right. Saline sprays are good for you too. So you can spray those. I already talked about colloidal silver, but if you have saline sprays too, that'll help as well. And then when you're done with that, you can use that little spray can for the colloidal silver. Let's see here. The other things that my India lady helped me with when I was traveling to India was the air purifiers. They're the steamers that they had there. So they had these pots and they had steam coming and they covered my head with a towel and I just sat there and just breathed in for like 15 minutes as and they even had some really cool Ayurvedic drops in there. Some of the things like oregano oil that I already mentioned, peppermint oil. You could put a bunch of those in a pot and then boil up some water, put a towel over your head and just breathe in, inhale through your nose and out of your mouth, kind of like you do in yoga. That'll open up some of the sinus passages. Also, for 2 other things that I really like for cleaning up chest congestion is licorice root extract. This is a plant-based hormone, and you just put, like, of course, to tolerance because you want to make sure that you're okay with this and you don't have a reaction, like 5 to 10 drops underneath your tongue and hold it there for about a minute. And that's sublingual administration. That really helps to clear out congestion. And so too, I have this support mucosa blend as well. So I like to have all of those available and at my disposal depending on what congestion I'm having. And not necessarily me, but mostly for my clients and my loved ones because I haven't had a problem for a while. Knock on these trees around me. Okay. So yeah, air purifiers and steamers are awesome. Environmental nurses, you should not only use this when you're sick, but like at all times. So we have too many like toxic chemicals around us, and so that's one way we're gonna avoid inhaling any more allergenic types of toxins. If you have allergies or anything like that on a regular basis, a lot of these things will also help you with that. Or if you have like chronic constant sinus congestion, the colloidal silver that I recommended in the very beginning of this video will also help you. So some of these things that I'm talking about today are not just for cold or flu, but like allergy season or just having chronic sinus congestion, which I know a lot of people do in general. All right. The 5th thing that I really recommend that you guys do when you're sick is to rest. Damn it, rest. And like, seriously, take time off work. But Diane, you have no idea how important I am at work. Yes, I know you are. Because you know what? I'm kind of a big deal. People know me. And my office smells of rich mahogany and many leather-bound books. That's a movie quote. I'm not being serious. But you can't afford to take time off. I know that. But you know what? You can't afford not to. Research proves that allowing your body to get over the common cold and just to run its course is the most effective way of getting rid of it so that it doesn't come back while simultaneously not suppressing the problem. You don't want it to come back and haunt you in like 2 weeks or whenever someone else in your household or your breathing range gets sick. Biggest one, and I could get in trouble for this, but don't use antibiotics as a crutch. And I'm talking about like pharmaceutical antibiotics. One of the main reasons people come to me is because of digestive complaints, and something as simple as and as common as just one round of antibiotics prescribed by a doctor is enough to shut down your gut, your organ functions, and inspire candida all throughout your body. I fully believe that's what happened to me. So realize it's a chain reaction. You might be taking prescription antibiotics, but increasing your likelihood of autoimmunity and cancer and other diseases later on down the road. So you really give up one thing and you get a lot of things down the road. So it's really not worth it, in my opinion. You just let this run its course. If you must, however, take antibiotics, I beg of you to take probiotics along with it. That's the first thing that I mentioned in this video. Please, because if you're taking antibiotics, it's killing all of the good bacteria and your digestive tract, and then there's nothing left. There's not even any good guys to help fight for you. So you definitely want to make sure you have some life in there. So take it like every couple of hours apart from your whatever antibiotics that you're taking. Take one dose, and if you have any questions on dosage, just let me know and email me or message me or just comment below. I recommend at least 10 billion, like I said, so make sure you take a look at the back of it. Keep it diverse and rotate your supplements because you don't want it to accumulate resistance. And when to use them, I did want to include a link below so that you guys had an idea when to use antibiotics and when not to use them. So they're excellent at killing bacteria, We have to know which one we're trying to kill, but they're useless at killing viruses. And viruses cause 90% of respiratory infections. Most upper respiratory infections are caused by viruses, and only a tiny minority are caused by bacteria. So 2% of sinus infections are caused by bacteria and require an antibiotic. So that's a really low number. Bottom line, interpretation, 10% of colds and flus are actually caused by bacteria. That's it, which is something that antibiotics might help to remedy if it's not an unknown superbug, which is what you run the risk of contracting if you overuse antibiotics. And in fact, the CDC is really causing a lot of awareness right now and inspiring us to consider when to use antibiotics so we're not overusing it, because we are causing these superbugs and people are getting sicker and sicker, and there's no cure for it. How to tell if you need it, like I said, the link is below. The CDC has really been making public announcements on cracking down on this because doctors really like to make money on it. I'm not a big fan of flu shots either. In my opinion, they're being advertised as necessary for everyone, but these shots should not be taken as a band-aid for people who choose to not take care of themselves. With the amount of side effects they carry, immunizations are not a substitute for immunity. They are just not. Moving forward, once you kick this thing and you've slept a lot, and you could probably expect it to pass within about 10 days. And all those 10 days, if you can afford to take off work and just rest, that'd be great. If you work from home, just work a little bit less, take naps when you need to. But big mistakes to avoid on the days to follow once you've kicked it is to continue to take care of yourself. Just because you're feeling better, don't just stop these things that I talked about today. Everything we talked about is not only just good for helping fight off your common cold, but it's also great nourishment to feed and maintain a healthy immune system so that you don't get sick again. We need the good guys in here. We have too many bad guys in our systems anymore. Heal your gut. Take care of your digestion. Getting sick ever is a sign of a broken down immune system in your body. Most likely your digestive tract. Your digestive tract is pretty much 85% of your immunity. People don't correlate that immune system with digestion. It is digestion that is our immune system. I used to get sick like 4 times a year and wrote it off as like, oh, I was just going around, so I would just come to expect it every year at the very least, like once a year. But once I found out through the labs that I offer and use in my practice to my clients, I had adrenal fatigue, hormonal imbalances, leaky gut, and an overgrowth of pathogens in my gut. I worked really hard on my long-term healing protocol and have not been sick since. So like I said, it's about a year. If this is you, email me and we'll talk, because I do offer free 30-minute consultations to explore how I can be the nurse that you need to bring you back to good health and to teach you how to be your own best doctor for you and your family for the rest of your life. But visit my website. I'll put the link below and you can contact me so I can help out if you'd like. Last thing, eat foods that are anti-inflammatory. Dr. Weil is a master on this subject and I've included a link below, but the best anti-inflammatory diet for you is to avoid the foods that you are sensitive to. How do you find that out? Some of nature's best medicine is poisoned others, like garlic and ginger I mentioned on this video. Those are poison for me. I couldn't believe it. I was like, great, now what do I do when I'm sick? But I do use other antibacterial remedies I talked about today because those turned up highly reactive for me. I think they were yellow. It's either green, you're not reactive to it, yellow, you're pretty reactive to it, and red, you're really highly reactive to it. So I highly suggest exploring that test, which you can only run through a health practitioner such as myself. So I included a link below so that you can catch up on and read up on how to order it through me. And I offer a $500 discount through what normal doctors offer because I'm not a doctor and I'm not going to make money in a lab. I just want to do this for you. So last but not least, this is the best thing that you can do for yourself. Liquids! So I've got a massive, I think this is 1.5 liters. I've got a bigger one and I got a smaller one that I take wherever I go. The best one is whichever one that you decide to use. BPA free, of course. Those ones are clean canteens. And then juicing. I love juicing, and this is one of the best things that you can do. It's the quickest and most natural way to get a surge of nutrients into your body. This one is my favorite. It's pineapple kaleata. Pineapple kale, it's like pina colada. It's pineapple, it's kale, which has a ton of vitamin C. It's apple, it's lemon, and it is a cucumber. So all of this in one drink, and I drink this at least once a day. Sometimes I make juice enough for twice during the day. So whatever floats your boat, but this is awesome, and this is an awesome way to get nutrients without having to take them in supplement form. Only if you've exhausted all other options, but only if you've exhausted all these other options, then maybe Mucinex or Sudafed or some over-the-counters. But that should be a last resort, you guys. Antibiotics should be not the crutch. a last resort. I know too many people who overuse this easy way out option, including my clients, and it used to be me, and they ditch the cold prevention techniques that we talked about in this video instead of just making a healthy lifestyle by taking care of yourself regularly, including all elements that I talked about, which is diet, rest, exercise, supplementation, and stress management. So this holiday season and all year round, take good care of yourself, keep the stress low, always nourish yourself with great nutrients that are the most available from Mother Nature. Drink at least half of your water, or half of your body weight in ounces of water per day, at least, and be gentle to yourself. Rest at least 8 hours a night, get to bed by 10 o'clock, and you can wake up at 6 o'clock or anytime thereafter. So I hope all of these things really help. I would love to hear some feedback on some of the other things that you use in your practice if you're a health practitioner, or if you're just an average Joe who just loves to share advice with others on what works for you. Otherwise, I don't have a cold, but I'm just going to continue on with my lifestyle to prevent them. Cheers, you guys, and thanks a lot for listening, DianeKazer.com. And if you'd like to, please subscribe to my videos so you can hear more of these every single week. Cheers!